On the C8 Corvette, let's learn how to use the key fob in order to get into the car when you can't otherwise, and how to take an old battery, change it out with a new battery, and finally, how to hook up a battery tender or maintainer. Here we go. Hey, hello, how are you? Welcome to Road Odyssey. I am Bert, and I really do hope you're having a great day. I do hope that you're not watching this because your battery's dead. But in the event that you are, let's get into it quickly. Now, number one, if your car is totally blacked out, you can't get into it, you got your key fob. And so, what you want to do, there's a button right here on the side of the key fob. I'm going to hold this ring. Press that button as hard as you can. Really push it in and pull up, get your key. Now, let me show you what to do with this key. Here we go. To reiterate, here's the key fob. Look at it from the side. See that little button? You're going to press that button and pull the key out. You look up under the driver's side door handle. Look very close. You'll probably have to use a flashlight or the light on your cell phone. Look up in there, and then you're going to put the key in diagonally. Once that key's in there, you're going to turn it clockwise. That will open up the door. Okay, now, using that little key gets you into the car. If you had just enough power to get into the car, well, when you open up the door, you might notice that the windows don't index well. Things look a little unusual. You get a weird vibe. You sit in the car, you push the power button, and all you hear is like click, click, click. Battery's dead. So here's what that might look like. All right, so you've established the battery's dead. Now you need to open up the frunk, that front trunk, and do that. Get it open, and let me go ahead and start showing you all the little steps and things that you need to do in order to get that battery out. So here we go on that. On page 278, it tells you how to get down to the battery by releasing the 4 clips on the left and the right outer covers, and then releasing the 5 clips and remove the center cover in order to get to that battery. All right, now let me show you how to take off this side panel over here, this panel over here. So you take those 2 panels off, then you can take off this panel right here in order to get to the battery that is located right in the center, pretty much right there. All right, I'm starting to take the 3 panels off. I'm on the driver's side. Be very sure to pull gently directly out laterally or horizontally away from the fenders, and just work it very slow and easy. You don't want to break these tabs off. Now I'm doing the passenger side. Same thing, just pull laterally or horizontally, nice and gentle. Just a quick shot of the 4 clips along these side panels. When pulling up the big center panel, slide your hands up under the cover and feel for the corner clips. I do the front corner clips first and the back second. And here I am doing it on the other side as well. You can see my hands are getting well up under that cover to pull it up. And there's a 5th one over by the windshield wiper fluid. Now you can see the battery right up in the middle. To jump off the C8, you're first going to have the donor car pull up very close, of course, and it's going to be in park as well as the C8. So think safety first. Now, the cable, you're going to make sure that you connect the red positive cable to the donor car first, then get it over and connect to the red positive on the C8. Do not let any of the ends of the cable be touching any metal while you're doing all this. Secondly, you're going to take the black negative, connect it to the battery of the donor car, and then connect the black negative to the C8. And here again, the donor car is already running. In my mind, you don't have to do it that way, but I like it that way. Now, you might have to rev the donor car a little bit. It might help the alternator. But anyway, that may be old school. So when you're done, you're going to do it backwards. You're going to disconnect the two black negatives. And I usually just do it completely in reverse. I take off the negative off the Corvette and then off the donor car. Then I take off the red positive off the Corvette and then off the donor car. Now, that's presuming that you've been able to start the Corvette. So, not hard, really simple stuff. Just go slow and take your time. To take out the battery, you're going to need a socket set with a long extension, something like an 8 or 10 inch extension. So you're going to use probably two different socket sizes. First thing you're going to want to do is just take off this crossbar. Second thing to do is you are going to remove the negative cable first. Now be sure to move that cable far out of the way and do not let it come back and touch anything. While you're there, you're going to use the extension and go down to this little bolt that holds the battery to the plate down below on the base. And this is the base retainer that you're taking out. Go slow and keep all of this stuff together and pay attention to the direction that it, came out and is going to go back in, all that good stuff. Just go slow and pay attention. All right, so now you got that side of the battery taken care of. You want to go over to the positive side, and when you take that cable off, be sure and just really pull it off to the side and don't let it flip-flop around. If you've got zip ties, you might use zip ties to kind of keep these out of your way. The battery needs to be an H6 group size 48 with 730 cold cranking amps. Now you can go back and get the original AC Delco. You can go to AutoZone and get the Duralast Gold preferably, or you can go to O'Reilly's and get one of their top of the line batteries. But whatever you do, please do not go to Walmart or someplace that sells just cheap batteries unless you are totally stranded and that's the only choice you have. Now, you might also consider getting the little terminal felt pads and the gel for anti-corrosion and apply these. So the green goes on the negative and the red goes on the positive. Get the battery back in and secure, and now you're ready to reconnect the terminals. Reconnect the red positive cable first. And you might actually, like I did, I took paper towels and protected the black negative just to make sure it wouldn't flop over and touch anything. The last step was just to reconnect the black negative cable. When you do this, it'll spark a little bit, but be firm and just do it. So you don't want to sit there and go zap, 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 zap constantly. Just put it on there and tighten it down. To replace the panels, the first big panel is put in, and I line up the two corners first. I look at those two corners, get them lined up, and I very carefully push them in first. Then I push in the two back corners and come around by that windshield wiper fluid and push in the last one. On the side panels, I take that very first retainer and I'm going to line it up with the hole next to the fender, and I'm going to make sure that the other end of that panel is slid up under the hood bracket. Just lay the panel in gently. You want it to kind of sit sort of flat, and then slide it in horizontally straight into those little retainer holes and just push lightly. I start with that very first one towards the front and work my way back. Now you've got the battery out, you've got the new battery in, you hop into the car, you push the start button, and everything is fine. And for me, when I did this, every single thing that I had set up in my car came back. So here's what that looked like. After starting the car, it is super easy to re-index the windows. Roll them down, roll them up, open, close the doors, that's it. All right, so you're doing really well. You are maybe not going to run the car every, say, 2 or 3 weeks at the most. So you need a battery maintainer, especially if you're going to store the car for a month or multiple months. So I have here in this box the battery maintainer for the Corvette. So let me show you my unveiling or unpackaging of the maintainer, and then going out to the C8 and hooking this thing up. So let's do it. This is the box that the trickle charger or maintainer comes in. GM number 85132786. As I open the box up, you can see on top there's the little bag that you can use to put the maintainer in if you really want to. Then you've got the user manual, and yeah, I read the cover. Then up underneath is, of course, the maintainer. On page 250 of the owner's manual, it'll tell you to use the battery maintainer to keep the battery charged when the C8's not in use. Now, I have figured out that, hey, you really don't need to worry about it that much. If your car is going to get used every day, every week, or every 2 weeks, something like that, not that bad. But anything longer than a week or two, that would be considered extended storage. It is recommended to use the battery maintainer. If you can't do that, then remove the black negative cable from the battery. So there you go. That's what you need to do. Now, inside my front frunk, I have all kinds of safety stuff and backup things that are in there. And there's a maintainer. There's the connector that will go inside that little port right there. All right, there's the plug. You're going to put the red tip in and the little black part right behind the red tip. So there's the red tip in. Now the black part right behind the red tip. Push that all the way in. Now, be advised that this whole bracket is kind of loose. There you see I'm jiggling it. So when you want to pull the plug out, you need to firmly hold down that whole back bracket plate as you pull the maintainer plug out. I'm showing you how I keep the maintainer outside of the car so that it can breathe. I connect it up to a power strip, which normally I like power strips because they can have circuit breakers within them. Also, for the maintainer, you'll notice it's got the reset button. Well, it's going to have a circuit breaker in it as well. So anyway, you see the lights there indicating how well the maintainer is operating. And so just keep an eye on it. It should be good to go. Finally, for this, I'm wanting to tell you that for this frunk, on the hood, you've got 2 clicks when you push down on that hood. And I want to show you why that is happening. So for the first click, what happens is you pull the hood down and you're going to push on that hood once and get that first click. That first click is going to leave the hood cracked so that the cable can come out. That turns all the power off up under the hood. There's no light on or anything like that, and the wire can come out. And so the second click is when you remove the maintainer and you push down and have that second click so that the hood is fully closed. All right, that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe down below. I would appreciate that very much. And also provide any comments and thoughts if you have any for me, and I will eventually get around to them. Now, I really do hope this was instructional and gave you a great idea as to how to take care of your car, the battery, and you know what? I hope it's allowed you to relax and take it easy. And with that, I will see you later. Bye.